Hi, it's Iram Ali here. Welcome to my channel, Immigration with Iram. In today's video, we're going to be looking at some really important changes with regards to people who have come to live in the UK from Europe. So the recent statement of changes that was introduced last week have confirmed that people who have come to the UK and have obtained a pre-settled status visa, ordinarily after 5 years of being on that visa, they would apply for settled status, which means after settled status, you would no longer have to apply for any other type of visa. But what the Home Office have now introduced and are going to do from the end of January 2025 is to automatically grant people the settled status. So people who are on a pre-settled status visa will automatically be granted settled status without having to apply for settled status. Now, obviously, the Home Office will be making a series of checks to see if they can determine whether or not you have lived continuously in the UK whilst you've had your pre-settled status visa, and also that there is nothing on your criminal record that could hinder or could be a reason why you wouldn't be granted a settled status. If they're not able to determine that, then obviously they would make inquiries, but they are trying to streamline the process, whereas you wouldn't have to specifically and physically make an application to the Home Office. Obviously, this is going to make life a lot easier for the some 5.7 million people that are here. A lot of those people already have settled status, but for a vast majority of people, they will be looking to apply for settled status. So in that regard, it is going to make life a lot easier for people because you don't have to then go and apply and wait for that pre-settled status to turn into settled status. So they are, I'm just looking at the system here, they are looking to do this automatically. So they obviously already know, Home Office already have data as to who has pre-settled status. So they would then automatically assess the application and contact you, very likely through your email address, and let you know that they will consider your application automatically without the need for you applying. So you should start to receive that after the end of January. If they need further information from you, obviously they'll ask you for that, but if not, then they will just assess your application anyway. If you want to apply, and of course they haven't given any kind of timeline to how long it will take before they will respond, and there's millions of people that have pre-settled status, so it's not going to happen in a hurry. But I think it's worth considering applying for settled status if you need that settled status for a different reason. So for example, if you are waiting to get settled status because you want to sponsor your spouse to the UK, which you can't do currently unless you've got settled status, or there are other criteria which allow you to apply for your spouse when you've got pre-settled status. But for argument's sake, let's just say that you cannot apply for your spouse or your dependents, your children, to join you in the UK until you have settled status. Then you may just want to go and apply for settled status yourself anyway, rather than waiting for the Home Office to grant you settled status, because at the moment they haven't indicated how long it's going to take them to process millions of applications. So that's something to consider. There's no fee for a pre-settled status or a settled status application, but of course if you're instructing solicitors, there will be legal fees to pay there. But yes, that's a key move towards ensuring that people who have pre-settled status don't lose out. What the Home Office have done in the meantime is the people who have pre-settled status, and when they get to the end of the 5 years, they're automatically giving you another 5 years pre-settled status, because the aim is to make sure that nobody misses out. So if you have got pre-settled status, currently you're given another 2 years of that pre-settled status before it totally expires. But the Home Office are now extending that to 5 years. So technically you could live in the UK with pre-settled status for 10 years before you absolutely have to apply for settled status. And it could take them, I would say, at least a year in my experience to process so many applications and grant people settled. The number one reason why settled status applications are refused, in my experience with regards to my clients, is when they really struggle to evidence the continuous residency in the UK. Usually I don't send an application until I've got enough evidence that somebody can prove they've lived in the UK for 5 years on pre-settled status. And people that came in 2020, obviously they're hitting that settled status deadline now, so that they're going to start applying from now. And I think some people struggle if they haven't opened a bank account, for example, they're a dependent, all the utilities and everything else are either in the other partner's name or they're included in the tenancy. So there isn't a vast variety of documentation that you can provide. But the sort of things that you really need to be thinking about is a letter from your GP to confirm the date that you registered and the address that they have on file. If you're studying in the UK, then a letter from your tutor, date you're enrolled on the course, how long you've been studying, what you've been studying. You could ask for a letter from the bank of when the bank account was opened and the address they have on file there, which would accompany your bank statements. You could send your tenancy agreement, or if you've purchased a property here, then your mortgage statements, coupled with the copy of the official register, which confirms that you own the property. Any memberships you have, any subscriptions. So, you might have Sky TV, you might have cable, mobile phone bills, or contracts that you can send, which would confirm your address. If you have children and they attend school, you could ask the school to provide a letter which would confirm the address that they have on file for the child, which would usually match your address, of course. And if you really struggled and you couldn't provide much of that, then you may want to get letters from any professionals that are aware of you living there. So your ward councillor, for example, may be aware that you've been living there. The local council, your council tax bill would confirm your address also. So you perhaps need to be a little bit creative in terms of what evidence to send. The portal in which you upload the documents asks you for the document that you upload, but also then to select the dates of the range of what that letter covers. So if you've got a 3-month bank statement, then you would put the from and to date, and it would cover a 3-month range. Anything from DVLA. I mean, if you really thought about it, I'm sure you would be able to find documentation that would evidence your stay in the UK for the last 5 years. Your driving license would have a date on it. BRP card and passport are the obvious ones, and they also confirm your identity. But yeah, it's if you haven't been doing so already, it's a good idea to collate documents as and when you receive them, and just keep them together in a file. But if you haven't been doing that, then you can go back to the GP, for example, hospital, school, the bank, and have letters that confirm dates to confirm your residency. So that is the number one thing that a Home Office are looking for, because you must confirm that you must evidence that you've lived in the UK for up to 5 years. So you will need to prove that through documentation. It asks you for you to upload a photograph of yourself, and then if you're able to have your biometrics done through the app by scanning your passport or your BRP card, then that just saves you having to book a biometric enrolment appointment to have your fingerprints taken. So the Home Office have tried to streamline a lot of the application process, but of course it does depend on individual circumstances. So I hope I've been able to share some important information that you will find useful. Of course, if you want to instruct me for a consultation or to assist you with an application for either pre-settled status or settled status, or if your circumstances are slightly complex and they don't neatly fit into any of the criteria, it's very worth booking a consultation with me so that we can unpick your situation and see if the rules apply and how they apply and how best to tackle them. You'll find my details in my description, so do drop me a line and let me know how I can help. But other than that, and until the next video, stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.